Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think I need another earphone because I'm hearing this tapping noise in my ear. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay. We're not recording on. Oh,
we definitely are.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, boo.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Hanging in there? Good? In a good mood? Feeling better?
I am.
Well, listeners, we are now on episode, 26?
And we had to count it out because
we are definitely recording this ahead of time, so we are not going to fill you in on how our weekend was because, this is before it's going to air. So,
way before.
We ain't going to tell you how far in advance, but it's definitely in advance.
Yeah.
So, welcome to our little special Valentine's Day edition. So, we exuding a lot of love this episode. And with us, we have the loves of our lives, our husbands. So, this Dice. Here I am. My husband, B, is on the Lizine. And then Shay's husband, JT.
What's good?
What's good?
Hi. We gonna start this? All right.
So for y'all listeners, we are not the lovey-dovey couples. So if you think we disrespectful to our husbands, it's not. We talk to them like we talk to y'all. Okay.
JT is lovey-dovey though, like high key.
Yes. Oh.
Yes, babe.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh,
So the reason why we're recording this early is because JT will be gone. He'll be out at sea.
Oh.
So we had to record this early, so we won't be able to discuss any of the topics that occur. Watch that week of Valentine's Day. It'd be a bunch of shit that happened.
Right. The most tea. Dun, 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 dun.
We're gonna be adding a recording for
a Thursday and a Friday joint.
Yes.
Don't hold us to that though. Don't hold us to that. Y'all gonna be waiting like, well, it's Friday. Like we was playing. So anyway, we have these lovely gentlemen here because we just gonna talk about just love. I mean, since it's in the mood of loving and Valentine's Day and all that good stuff, and we are two married couples, we're just gonna talk about different stuff on the beginning of our relationships, how it matured and where we are now and that sort of thing. So I don't know where you want to start, Shay.
How did you meet B-Dub? How did y'all meet?
So I was being a like,
for sure.
Don't co-sign. You're supposed to say, nah, babe, you really wasn't. So look,
I saw them cheeks walking through my.
Look, sir.
Okay, like 2 minutes in.
Look, so basically, in a nutshell, I was visiting my college, my alma mater, and I was thinking, well, you wasn't graduated yet, so what you talking?
But it's still my college. Right?
But at the time, sir, it was my alma mater, and I was going to visit some of my little sisters, and they was like, hey, let's go to the little frat suite. And we was like, all right, what's up? Show me around, because our school had changed a lot since I had graduated. Yes, I'm older than B, so judge your mama. But so I went back, and we was like, hanging out, like getting to know them. Like he was introducing, he was, trying to kick his little college game. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Because I literally thought he was like maybe
Don't
a teenager.
Forget though that they warned you that there was a fine ass nigga that lived in this
They
suite.
definitely did not. You are trying it. Long story short, he tried to kick his game or whatever. And I was like, oh, but you wasn't kicking game right then. Like you was like, giving me the lowdown, like, yo, my name is B-Dub and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And I was like, oh, this little boy is not even legal to drink, because I didn't know that he was actually older than what I was thinking at the time. But I don't think we exchanged numbers, but we started following each other on Twitter.
That's right. That's right.
Because
It
that
goes
was
down in the DM.
it definitely did.
I
But
got receipts.
don't. I mean, you showed everybody the receipts.
It was
Listeners,
only like 2 people.
look, listeners. My husband is the feds. So basically, in a nutshell, like of course, then like we didn't link up, but we was following each other on Twitter, and he had posted something like he was here for some holiday in the area because he's not from where I'm from. So. And I'm just on Twitter, and I was like, oh, so you I hit him in a little DM joint. It was like, oh, so you was in my area and you ain't hit me up? Like, that's messed up. And he was on some, well, I didn't know I was supposed to. And then, long story short, we got the flirting on the DMs, and then here we are, 2 children and a marriage later.
I feel like there's a lot more that happened in between
sure.
that. But okay.
I mean, what's your version? Tell me your version then, because
let me tell you something.
Oh my God, it's about to be extra. It's about to be extra.
What happened?
Man, my phone just kept buzzing one night.
Uh-huh.
So I was thirsty. Wait a minute.
Nah, she right though. It did happen like that. I was trying to kick my game or whatever. I saw some little cheeks walking through my
little cheeks. Were they little cheeks or they was good cheeks? Like at first, it was like I seen them cheeks and they was like little cheeks.
But
like,
you know how I say all small, so I saw something new walking in. I'm just like, what's going on here? He look a little mature. You know what I'm saying? I was older than everybody in that joint, so
yeah.
So I had to try. But she won't with it at all. But we was talking somehow though. I don't think it was the number though, because I remember you leaving and I was like, hey,
I think it was. I feel like we started. Like I think you was like, "Are you trying to come through after the party?" And I was like, that's cute," because I was actually after I was going to hang out with some of my other friends to go out that night. But then I was like, I think you was like, well, you could come through, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, what was we talking? It had to be something. I think it might have been Twitter DM probably.
I feel like that we started following each other on Twitter then.
Yeah.
Like we was like, well, what's your name on Twitter? That sort of thing. Because I don't feel like we didn't run into each other after that.
Yeah, because they had went like a couple months until we actually started talking again.
Yeah.
Well, until you hit me up.
Don't do that. I mean, the cougar knew what she wanted, okay? What about y'all? How y'all meet?
I'm going first. So we met in 9th grade and we had the same math class.
Oh.
And so my maiden name and his last name, they're really close.
Super close.
Our lockers were like only 2 or 3 lockers down. I think your brother's locker was the only one in between us, actually. And then like as we got to talking, we found out that it's so crazy. Like my father had moved into this neighborhood like 5 years before I had started high school or whatever. And come to find out, he used to live in the house behind my dad, but I didn't know that then. And by the time we met each other, they didn't live there anymore. But he was telling me like, oh, you had the marshmallow looking patio, and I used to feed your dog Cheerios. And he was like describing my dog to me and stuff. And I was just like, oh, wow. And so like, as we went in, like as we kept going in high school, we almost always had a math class together, right? Except for 1 year, because I'm smarter than you.
We also had that cooking class together.
Oh yeah, we did have that cooking class together.
Mm-hmm.
Who was our teacher?
Miss don't give me the line, I can't.
I just remember we had to make that one meal and it just looked a mess. It was a hot mess. But yeah, that's how we met.
I was a little creep.
Oh yeah, tell them that. Okay,
what happened?
Listeners, whole time I was okay, so JT used to be JT comes from a super Christian background, right?
The Lord.
So,
I'm sorry.
What you say?
He said the Lord.
So, all the kids in high school, they were hoes. They was out here fucking and thotting and all that other stuff. JT used to always be like he was saving himself for marriage.
That's lit.
I mean,
All right, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So me, I used to always be trying to make him like a little heathen. Like I remember in 10th grade, it was this Spanish joint. Man, she wanted this man so bad. She was throwing him the pussy every period. Oh, her name was Anna. Oh, you remember her name?
Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you
Oh, all
okay?
right. Talking about Anna.
Ooh,
Anna.
you remember.
All right. The fuck you remember her name for?
Anna about to catch these hands.
Random thought.
Anywho, so I kept trying to hook them up or whatever, but he just wanted to be,
With you.
Well, I didn't know nothing about that. I just knew he wanted to be the good guy. He wanted to wait until he got married. He didn't curse.
Why you laughing?
Because we all do, man.
Yeah, right.
What's your version?
My version, I remember 9th grade. It was bad. I was kind of low key, like infatuated. But I know that we always sat next to each other, and you always talk. You don't remember this, but we used to talk all the time. Like you used to vent to me about
other dudes. You've told
other
me.
dudes and different shit, and I was like, damn, that could have been me.
Oh.
But yeah. So
you was like the creepy nigga from You.
Don't.
Yeah, in my head, I was. I mean,
Don't play my mans like that. Don't do that.
I mean, I'm talking about like graduation time. I drew a picture of her and everything. Right?
Oh,
well, that was nice. That was a nice gift. Why are you saying it like that? So JT can draw really well, and he drew this picture of me that I still have.
But yeah,
don't
you
do
didn't
that.
find out. You didn't find out about me living behind you though until we were adults. So I finally decided. We were talking on Facebook. And,
all right, we jumping ahead. We
So you a Steve Urkel pretty much.
Oh, don't do that to him.
he was
Football
Stefan. Don't do
boy,
him like
like
that.
a-
He was
a year.
Stefan.
Hey, Steve was that dude though. Don't do that.
No, you just try to play him. I don't like that.
Steve was that dude, the smart one and everything. Yeah, everything together, but Laura won't trying to hear that. And that was you, Shay. You was Laura.
No, that's not me because I didn't know. That's no. That's not fair. I didn't find out that you invited me.
She gonna spaz on you, bro.
No.
When did you find out?
Fucking when I was working at Circuit City part-time, like after we had graduated high school, I remember you came in there and you just came in there to buy something. I happened to be working. I was like, oh, hey, da, da, da. At the time you were talking about joining the Air Force, remember?
Yeah, and then they told me I was too fat. Continue.
See, I didn't say all that. But that's when you told me that you had a crush on me. And I was like, oh, for real, Orange Boy?
I didn't say, yo, I had a crush on you.
But I mean, you said it like that.
Yes.
Oh, does that make it better if you said, I was
I had a
feeling
crush
it?
on you in high school.
He had it more.
He
had more game than that. He was more smooth than that.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
So I remember I worked up the courage to ask her out. And
oh no, we didn't get to that part yet.
Oh, we just on how you met.
Yeah, just how we met.
Just on how we met. Oh, well then, yeah.
You know, we got a lot of stuff happening over here.
Oh Lord, I know. Jesus.
Okay, so anyhow, so how did y'all start dating?
So don't do that. So I mean, so all right, so how am I explaining this? So basically, in a nutshell, like after we was talking via Twitter, I think eventually, we got the BlackBerry, so we had the BBM. We didn't even exchange numbers yet. We had the BBM joint. Mm-hmm. So we was talking on the BlackBerry Messenger for a minute, and then eventually we exchanged numbers. And we were long distance. Just for the listeners, because he was still finishing college. In North Carolina, and I was working. I was a grown ass woman.
She was a grown woman with a career. Now just some broke nigga.
So like, the time, and like when I would come down to North Carolina, we would kick it. Air quotes, kick it.
On the low,
but we definitely was on the low because like I didn't want my little sisters to know because I was like, yo, they're gonna fry me. They're gonna like, what? So I would like literally be hanging with my little sisters and they'd be like, oh, I'll be back. I got head off campus real quick. And they'd be like, well, where you going? We can go. I'm like, nah, I got. And the whole time I was just going across campus. Like I definitely wasn't leaving the campus. I was just going to his room to go see him. So
To go see him.
to go hang out.
Yeah, we were just chilling. You know, we was watching, playing checkers and stuff. We don't want nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Dominoes
Oh,
sometimes.
dominoes and spades.
Sorry,
Oh, you can't even play spades with two people. We lying.
Yeah.
Big time. But we was talking basically, long distance, and then he figured out I was like super lit and was like, yo, I'm trying to lock this down. And I was like, well, look, I'm having a really, really fun time. So like, don't feel like you need to do that just to keep me around. Like, we can still kick it. Like, I didn't want him to feel like, you had to say like, let's get serious in order for us to continue doing what we was doing. And he was like, nah, like, I want to be with you. And I was,
nah.
You saying nah, like my shit not right? Or nah? Oh.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, the first time I had said the L word, I was actually on the way.
But wait a minute, we talking about when we started dating. You didn't say the L word before we started dating.
I mean, I thought we got there. Keep going.
We definitely talking about
Keep
how
going.
we started dating, my G.
Cause you said serious. That's
Serious as in like I'm not messing with nobody else and neither are you, so we starting dating. Is my story off?
No, it's not. I just thought we had.
No, we not there yet. We just at where we started dating. And that's how we started from just meeting to dating. Or did I miss something? Like a step or something?
No, you did.
What about y'all?
Honey, listen.
Not the deep side though.
Okay, so you gotta understand there's like a 8-year difference in between our first date and 6-year difference. Like when we started like dating, like we were together.
Y'all lost touch or something, or just life?
So I'm gonna tell you my side, and then I'm gonna try to be quick though, because like I said, this is some years in between.
Right.
So our first date, pause. So we started communicating after that whole Circuit City thing via Facebook, and I knew he was joining the military or something like that. So we did go out like on a date or whatever, but I wasn't really taking him seriously because I didn't want to date nobody that was in the military, because I'm not fucking following you around the world, and I don't want to have no long distance relationship. I was young as fuck. So I personally wasn't taking him seriously.
Right.
I think though that he had expected for me to be serious, because what I do know is that he had went away for boot camp, and when he came back, I was like in a whole relationship or whatever. Right, babe?
That's right.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. So I'm like in this relationship or whatever, and I'm like, I'm in that. I'm just like, JT, you cool, we friends, whatever. So JT joins the military. He turns into a super thought, right? So, like I said,
I'm sorry.
He was a super Christian up until like 2021 or something like that.
21.
And then like as soon as he got a little sniff, it was just like he started wilding out. So he was in a relationship with this girl, and he started cheating on the girl. So I'm looking at JT like, what are you doing, Orange Boy? Like, what is happening? So I don't even know where to begin. Like, you broke up with that girl, then you started dating that other girl. Am I gonna say her name?
No, you're not.
We're not.
Okay, his ex. I will just say that.
You ain't cheat, man. Don't
This
worry
joint's
about it.
shady.
But so listen. So I'm really gonna try to make this. I'm gonna try to shorten this as much as possible. But so he starts dating this girl, right? This girl doesn't like our interactions on Facebook, even though every day I'm on Facebook like, I love my ex. I got a picture of me and him kissing. That's my profile picture. Like, again, I'm not thinking about JT in that way, like at all. So I reach out to old girl and I'm like, listen, I just want to let you know, like, me and JT are just friends. It's nothing serious. Like, you don't have nothing to be worried about. So I was like, you coming off a little insecure, and that's not going to really work. I mean, I did. I was like, you coming off a little insecure, so you might want to fall back. I said it in a nice way, right?
Nah, y'all, you did.
No, for real. I did say it in a nice way, because I then hit JT up and I was like, your bitch mad insecure and don't nobody got time for that. Da, da, da. So she hits me back like the next day. She's like, I just want you to know that I read his message that you sent him, and I don't like the way that you do X, Y, and Z. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, first of all, what I told him in the message is the same thing I told you. I just told him in my normal Shay voice, and I told you
in the corporate voice.
Exactly. Do you know that this motherfucker unfriended me on Facebook, and that is a big deal back then? He
JT
unfriended
did?
me. Yes, he did.
His joint say cut ties.
Yes.
Cut ties.
He cut me off. So I was just like, all right, whatever. A few months later, them motherfuckers broke up. Who he hit up? Me. Right? So we cool again. Don't laugh. That shit's not funny.
That means you was on his mind the whole relationship. That's what that means, guys.
Girl. Anywho. So we end up being cool again or whatever. But he ends up back with the same girl. So we end up going through the same bullshit.
Oh,
so
my
now
God.
when did I start? Oh, another quick side story. I also tried to hook him up with my best friend, but I can't remember where that falls on the timeline. But
it
now
really falls nowhere because it never went anywhere.
But I still try to hook y'all up because in my mind I felt like y'all would be perfect because at one point y'all was super Christians. Even though both of y'all are heathens now, but that's not the point. Anywho, so when he got back with the girl, I would hit my best friend up and be like, I don't know why he's with that bitch, because da 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 da. And my best friend was like, well, I don't like, why you so mad? Like, you just said you want to be his friend, da 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 da. And the crazy thing is, I had got cool with this dude at my job, and me and this dude, we became Facebook friends. And one day I see JT on his feed, on his news feed, and I'm like, well, how do you know him? Whole time he's now married to JT's sister.
Oh wow.
Right.
Small ass world.
Girl. So when JT cut me off again for this bitch, his brother-in-law was like saying the same thing my best friend said, like, why you so mad? Why you so mad? So I did start to like think to myself, like, maybe I'm feeling JT a little more than I, thought.
Right.
This is like many moons, many years later, whatever. And I'm not going to get into what happened next.
So is she right?
I'm going to just pause there. I'll bring it up. I'm going to just give y'all a moment. Should I
JT, are you confirming?
I'll bring it up.
Oh, go ahead. Bring it up.
J Tizzle.
JT, work it, JT.
Nah, don't work it.
You got to revise the story.
There's always two recollections of events.
Oh,
so you gonna say two sides to the story?
Right, you gotta say
he went extra.
So,
He extra.
hey, look, I is smart.
You is important.
But so after high school, like she said, met her up in saw her in Circuit City or Best Buy, one of those.
It was Circuit City.
Circuit City, and got a contact info. We did talk on
he bagged you. That's what he said.
We did talk on Facebook, and my recollection when we was talking on Facebook, it was mad flirty. You can act like it wasn't, but it really was.
You probably think it's flirty, but I think that my interactions with everybody when I was single could come off as flirty.
It's not coming off. It was okay. Like I said, my recollection of events was she was coming off mad flirty, and I was like, bet this is my time, this is my moment. So,
and then you went to boot camp and somebody
no.
Let my man tell his story.
So we went out and for our first date, and we went out for our first date, and I forget the restaurant that I took
my gosh.
But we what happened? I told you about how I felt and all of that, and I thought they were gonna start trying to see where it went. I think I took you on another date, and we kept communication going. I go on for boot camp for like 2 months, and I come back, she's in a relationship.
Yes.
So I was just like, so I was just like, man, fuck it. So I'm about to just see what else is out here. So I ended up
Being a
actually,
hoe.
yes, yeah. So I was on some fuckboy shit after that, actually. So I hooked up with someone with the best intentions, but I was on some like new body, new me. You know, when you get out the boot camp, you all cut up and stuff. So I was feeling myself, and I was a hoe. I ain't gonna lie. So,
Just blame it
Beat
on
up to
Shay,
the
man.
ex.
anyway,
It
so
was Shay's fault because she
so,
ain't.
He was hurt, so he was
Yeah,
lashing
man.
out.
I ended up.
Here we go
up-
with these black men don't cheat thing. Look at y'all banding together. Shut it up.
So I ended up with the ex that she is most passionate about, and we had our like every time we would pretty much go on a little breakup or whatever, I was hitting up Shay. That ain't
There
no
was no
lie.
lies in my story.
No ladder.
Yeah.
So
Your ex was a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Where's my beverage?
So what happened? So me on some fuckboy shit. When we had worked things out, we had just got back together.
You and that girl.
Me and the girl that we will
Let's
not
be clear
name.
for the listeners.
And me and Shay had went out, and
You asked me to go out with you to help you pick Christmas gifts out for your parents.
I did.
And you did not bring that little thing up here.
Right. So I was on low key. I was on some. I was gonna shoot my shot and was gonna try to see if we could connect.
Rekindle.
No. Let's be clear. We not focused on this shit.
All right, I was trying to smash.
Thank you.
All right.
Your man JT, after like 10 years of friendship, we had a nice day out trying to get these gifts. We pull up to my house. He like, so he leaned over.
You gonna let me drop this off or no?
So he leans over and we had our first kiss, but he's in a whole relationship, right? So he's like, I mean, can I come upstairs? I'm like, nah, I got a roommate. He like, all right, well, let's go get a hotel. So I was like, so tomorrow after we leave the hotel, like what happens with you and old girl? Like my man gonna sit there and tell me in my face, child.
Yeah,
I can't, I just can't do that to her. I don't already put her through so much, I just can't break her heart.
Why?
I was like,
you breaking her heart coming upstairs, my G?
No.
What you mean?
Like I said, I already said I was on some fuckboy shit. I own that. I did that. That was me.
But at least he was bold with his shit. He said, look, I'm gonna let you know, sweetheart.
But my thing was, I was pissed because I was like, listen, I can understand you doing this to like a bitch you met on Facebook, but like me and you go back to 9th grade, like we've been friends this whole time. Like I confide in you, you confide in me, but now you about to treat me like
some side rat.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I tell you that I was like, fuck JT for life, it was fuck JT.
You had the whole campaign.
It was fuck JT for a little while because obviously.
No, it was fuck JT for life because a month later you proposed to that bitch.
Oh, I'm asleep.
I got a drink down here somewhere.
Back to Dice and B-Dubs.
Okay.
So back to how we proposed. Is that when we start? Since we talking about proposals, so
we still got some more before we get to the proposal point.
Oh, well, y'all keep going.
Ours ain't as spicy as y'all. So y'all get spice.
Y'all
get y'all spice
real.
off.
Y'all real mixy over
Y'all got
there.
all the seasoning. Y'all got the seasoning over that.
The smoked paprika.
So he
garlic
don't
salt
remember.
out this month.
Listen, he doesn't remember the timelines, but because I'm a Facebook stalker, and because I don't really forget a lot.
And you keep the most receipts on deck.
I definitely do. So my best friend was still friends with him, and she's the one that sent me the sent me the message because I don't even think there was screenshots then. I don't remember, but anywho, she's the one that was just like, yeah, he proposed to old girl. So I was like, that shit not going to last, but I mean, congratulations or whatever. But then whole time I started beefing with my best friend because I was like, why the fuck are you still friends with him? Like, unfriend him, bitch. You're my friend. We're not friends with him no more. So,
but you should have used her as the feds though, so she can get that intel.
I was so done with him. I was just like, I don't want you to be friends with him. And me and her really got into it and everything because she was like, girl, it's not that serious. But in my mind, it was fuck.
It's about loyalty.
Yes. fuck
Yeah.
JT for life. So I made her unfollow your ass.
Mm.
And I was just like, I know, like in my heart of hearts, if he marries that bitch, it's definitely not going to fucking last.
Right.
And it didn't.
That marriage lasted all of 7 months.
Yeah, it wasn't even a year
Golly.
before they like got separated.
Good
They had
grief.
to go through the separation process just to get the divorce
See,
because
we
it
was
wasn't
married literally for 2 seconds and then separated for like.
They was on a Kim and Chris Humphries joint.
But I
like
told you.
grand opening, grand closing.
But I told you, son. I told you. Don't listen to me though.
You ain't telling shit.
So then, in typical JT fashion, who he hit up when they
You.
break up? Me, nigga.
Cause his heart was with you the whole time.
No, but it wasn't with me because whole time he hits me up, but he was the new bitch.
No.
What? That quick?
You was with that girl.
No, we had broke up.
You were no. I'm not talking about the ex. I'm talking about the ex, the most recent ex.
Yeah, we were broken up at the time.
He said, "Oh, that was different."
That's why.
Listen, I don't
that
know.
was different.
Listen, I can't keep up with your makeup to break up head ass. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god!
So that's the thing though. Like,
It's about love.
So that's the thing. JT would use me when he broke up with these little ragamuffins. You know, this don't sound like a love story now that we saying it out loud.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
You sound so aggressive with it.
So anywho, he was with another chick. He wasn't even with the ex-wife, right? He was with some other chick. And we was cool. And then so I thought y'all, no lie, I did think y'all were together. What had happened was y'all broke up, and at that point I tried to shoot my shot and was like, I think we should try to give this a whirl, whatever. And I had invited you to my friend's giving thing that I was having at an old friend who we definitely ain't gonna say no names because
But me and the girl had got
that nigga Clarence, right?
y'all got back together like the day before Thanksgiving, fam. Like I invited you and I told everybody you was coming.
Was broken up, and then like she went on like literally hit me with the like you're a single man now shit. So I was like, all right, bet. So then we ended up working things out, and so I couldn't keep that arrangement
JT,
with shit.
you like it was like we had plans up until like the week of Thanksgiving, and then the day before you was like, yeah, so you're trash, fam. Like the listeners gotta be like, divorce him. Because you know that
listeners is like, how did we get to this? How did we get to the love part?
Let's fast forward.
It's a lot of adversity. It's a lot of
It's
adversity.
real love right here,
tell
man.
that story too. So
but they said they should not. They.
I should not spicy.
Yeah, we still
At
got.
all.
Our joint is real bland and yeah.
Okay, so when he cut me off, no, he didn't cut me off. But when he said he got back with her, I was in my feelings. So we didn't talk for like 2 or 3 months after that. Because I was just like, are you for real? Like, I just felt like after everything, all the back and forth, like that was our moment. And I felt like if he wasn't like ready to move on, or if there was still like feelings that he was holding on for her, he should have communicated that with me.
Right.
But he did not.
So the reason, hold on, there's a reason for that.
Where them please at? Come on.
No, there's a reason for that. So when she said like she's tried to shoot her shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from my perspective, at least from my perspective, I felt like I was at the time was getting mixed messages. I did. So I didn't know if I was being played with or not. And I'm keeping it 100. I'm only saying that because
I wish y'all could see my face.
No, look. So remember when? All right. So I went over to my cousin's house, like, and you came with me that time. Remember that?
Are you about to tell them? Because go ahead and just tell them since you want to put all the business out there.
No. So we went over to my cousin's house, and we had a good time out that day. We had a nice.
We did,
and it's just I felt still like I was like
because I didn't give you none.
Not well.
Yes.
No, it's not even because you didn't give me none. It was like
because I slept in what I slept in, but I didn't give you none. See, that's what all y'all think about. See, we not doing all that. Anywho, moving along.
Okay, I'm
listener.
about to say there's more to it though.
It's not more to it that we sharing with everybody. We got to keep some
Alright.
things to ourselves.
Well,
That wasn't mixed signals. You was just
The listeners is sipping all the tea right now. Like,
I misinterpreted. So my takeaway from it, be it wrong or not, was like, you know what? I'm just gullible and I'm seeing with the blinkers on. So let me like not, you know.
At this time, I was out here being single. Okay, I was being single. So the fact that I was wanting to bring someone into my group of friends and be like, "Hey, this is JT," and for him to curve me like that, like it was like egg on my face. Like you made me look like a cornball. So there's that.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you hurt my bae feelings.
Yeah, there's that.
I'm sorry.
So then he goes on deployment. And he hits me up, and now we can, I guess that's how we got to love. So basically, every time he goes on deployment, we email each other back and forth like forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, him and the ex, not the ex bitch, I don't really have a problem with his most recent ex. I don't like that ex life though. Fuck her for life. I hope she can tell a friend to tell a friend about this podcast.
Feel the fuck her for life in that.
No, I already told you on site. Like to this day, we could be in church.
I was talking about them.
Not on the church. Glory.
Grocery store.
She keeps saying that she sees her anywhere. She gonna keep me saying.
Yeah. Anywho, so while he was on the plane,
got no hands, dog.
I'll fight you, B. So we were emailing each other back and forth. He broke up with her, and then at some point we got together. I can't really tell you like when it became official though. Like just at some point when we were emailing each other back and forth, we started talking about like our future together and me moving with him and all this other stuff. And I remember his cousin had asked like, so when is y'all anniversary? Like when we started dating, we were like, we don't know. It just happened.
Right.
I know the listeners gonna be like, bitch, you went through all that and then y'all just got together. But
we just stumbled into this relationship.
But yeah, we just stumbled into this relationship, goddammit.
So how did
B propose?
So look, let me tell you something. So I think like throughout the time we was dating and we was serious, like randomly we would like talk about rings and like what kind of rings I like. But because when we first started dating, I made it perfectly clear that I had been in a whole bunch of relationships for several years that didn't amount to nothing. So I just knew that the next relationship that I wanted to be in, that would be it. Like I'm tired. Like I would rather just be out here having fun than to just be in a relationship to waste time. Like if I'm gonna be in a relationship, then like I wanted to, and that's what I was telling him. Why you don't have to feel like we need to be in a relationship. Like we don't have to, but he insisted that he did. So we will randomly talk about stuff like rings and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But, I'm just like humoring him and telling him like, yeah, in the future, like I would like this and whoop-de-whoop. So I don't know. Like I always thought, because I am a nosy bitch and I catch on everything. So my whole life, I just knew that whenever somebody proposes to me, I'm going to see through all of this shit and I'm going to know exactly what the fuck is going on. And I'm going to have to some kind of way pretend that I don't know what's going on. This nigga was good. Let me tell you something. I did not catch on. I mean, even like 30 seconds before, I still didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, it literally was wild as hell. Like, I'm going to let him say his side of the story. But like, literally for me, I went to go visit him because he is from, so like I said, we were long distance. But after he graduated from college in North Carolina, he moved back to where he was from, which he's from like the Newport News 757 area. So we would take turns visiting each other. So I would go down there, or he would come up here, and I went to go visit him down there. And it was like a regular visit. Like, I went to his mom's house. Like she had cooked breakfast. I think she cooked breakfast that morning. I think. Yeah. So like had breakfast. Like we went out. I don't remember.
My mom knew.
Which I didn't know. But I don't remember what we did after that. But just my recollection, we went to, was it Olive Garden?
Yeah, it was. it
was
had to
a
be Olive
restaurant.
Garden.
It
'Cause
was
we
a
ain't had no
restaurant
Carrabba's or
that
nothing
you
like
didn't
that.
bang with because like he don't really bang with Italian food like that. But I love Italian food, so it was like red. Now thinking back, like it was red flags all up and through that shit. But like I didn't see it, so we went there and whatever. He was like, just order what you want. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I was like, all right. So we go to not Carrabba's. Olive Garden, had the little drink, like ate. Then did we hang out with some people? I feel like we hung out with some people. What did we do after? I don't
Did
remember.
we? I don't think
I
so.
don't remember what we did after.
Nah, cause we stayed out in the city center joint
Oh,
that
so
was
we
all
went to.
fancy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's this little place in Newport News called the City Center, and it's like it's probably way more popping and built up now. But back then it was like this circular, like little pond with like lights and like it was benches. Like it's really really cute. And I think our hotel was right down the street because we used to always stay at that hotel because that joint was litty and they had the best beds. Like I'm a stickler for like nice beds with hotels, so we used to always stay there because their beds was lit. So I think after we ate, he was like, do you want go out and go walking? And I was like, yeah. So normally after I eat, I want to go back to the room and chill because I'm lazy. Like after I eat, like all the stars were aligned. When I say like the Lord was like, let me help you out, B, because look, this joint difficult.
I
Because
put something in your drink.
you must have roofie me because I normally I'm like, go for a walk. Like what are you talking about? Like no.
Can't say that nowadays.
I know you about to be you gonna get canceled. But so he was like, you want to go for a walk at the little joint, like it's real lit. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't care. So we walking around the little pond. It's like super sexy. And I think I even said, I was like, oh, it's all romantic out here and shit. Like
It was all other couples out there
yeah,
holding
everybody was
hands.
walking. It was a perfect night. It was like a really clear night. It was like a perfect night. Like I'm not even trying to be extra, but like it was really nice. And we was just walking around talking. And I mean, am I giving all the details? Like I can.
Nah, you on point.
So B writes poetry, or at least he used to write me poems and stuff back in the day. So he was like, "Yo, I wrote a poem." Don't, hey!
That was that.
Break them laughing up, break that shit up. So
I heard it. Don't worry.
I heard the laughing. I heard that shit. So he was like, I wrote a poem for you. Like, can I say it? And I was like, yeah, that's what's up. I was like, you memorized it? Like, you don't got the drink written down? He was like, yeah. So I was like, all right. Well, he was like, we can go over here to this bench or whatever. So he's saying the poem. I was like, oh, this drink is so bomb. Like, oh my God, like this poem is so touching. Still whole time, I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, yo, he's just like saying this poem. And like at the end of the poem, I don't know all the words, but it basically was like proposing to me. And like he was down on one knee, honey. I cried. And I'm not I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
yes.
nigga. I was out here.
Because like it caught me so off guard that like I didn't see none of this coming and everything. And the fact that like all this happened and like he was able to like pull all this off without me catching on the whole damn day. It was lit. And I was just super happy. And then
I was super nervous, dog.
I couldn't tell. It just seemed super. I don't know. Like, I don't like to say stuff is perfect, but it seemed like that whole day was like perfect. Like the fact that I didn't catch on and like the weather and like I wasn't like extra to be like, I don't want to walk around no motherfucking city center. Like I feel like it was so many places where that your plans could have went wrong and I could have threw a monkey wrench in it. But like I was just with the shits that whole day. Like okay.
Yeah, I think because you was just out of your element, kind of like.
Yeah,
and even though you had been, Newport News,
it was like
new
shit that I hadn't done.
Yeah, you were just like, okay, we'll go out here and see what this joint's talking about. Since I ain't never been out here,
you probably was like, yes.
Yeah, I was though, because the whole time my mind, I was just like, oh, she can catch on for real.
Did you say like at Carrabba's? I mean, I keep saying Carrabba's because that's my shit. Like,
I wanted to go there, but I think it was Olive Garden.
Yeah. Didn't you say like you had the ring or something in your pocket and you kept checking it or something? Like you was like, I hope she don't see this joint in my pocket or something like that. That's funny. But did I miss anything or like?
Nah, that was literally perfect. Like I ain't trying to be extra.
I got the story right. What about y'all? I mean, I know the story, but like, let our listeners know.
The listeners are gonna really think that our whole relationship is trash because I'm the total opposite of Dice, and I fucked up my engagement.
For sure, you did.
Let me tell it. So we had floated the idea of her pretty much coming to move with me in California because I was getting stationed in California. So we made the decision to do that. So on the drive,
We drove from the East Coast to California, y'all. The hell.
Whew.
So I'd already made the drive initially by myself, and I had flown back so that I could drive her back. So I'd already knew the lay of the land, and during the drive, I already knew I was going to propose prior because I'd asked my mom for her grandmother's ring.
It's
So
her ring.
it was her ring.
Yes, my grandmother's her ring.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was her first ring. So during the trip, I'd already knew where I wanted to do it.
Where'd you want to do it, babe?
The Grand Canyon. So I wanted because the drive was literally is an exit right there. It goes to Grand Canyon. So we had got a hotel
in Arizona.
In Arizona, and I knew we had to pass the Grand Canyon. So I was about to take that exit.
No, I was driving.
You were driving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you were driving. And I was like, yeah, baby, take that exit. She was like, why? I was like, I want to see this. Like, I really don't want to see that right now. I'm tired. Let me get there.
Backstory, no, because you about to make me sound like a raging bitch. This was the fourth, listeners, this was our fourth night driving, and we had already decided that we were going to make it to our destination. We weren't going to spend any more money on hotels. And the thing is, we still had to drive to LA, which was out of the way. So we still had to go we were in Arizona on day 4. So we had to drive from Arizona to LA to the ass crack of California. So for him to say he wanted to go to the Grand Canyon, I put it in Waze. That shit was taking us like 48 miles out the goddamn way.
Wade's a hater.
And then, that's 48 miles there, 48 miles back, plus the drive to LA. So
that blew up my
And
plan.
I was driving.
Dang.
So.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even
thugger.
That
was my plan. And I was kind of bummed about that. But I was just like, all right, well, I mean. So what I did was we were at a restaurant. Shit, you want to tell me?
So then, like, after that, I was really bothered at the fact that you even like insinuated going to the Grand Canyon too. Like,
he was like, the audacity of this man.
Like, are you crazy? I'm trying to nah. And then the landscape. It was
to the point to where I couldn't even like insist.
No, because
there was no wiggle room with it. So I was just like,
it just was not happening. So I'm in like driving gear. I had on purple pants and a like gray striped shirt. Like I was looking a hot mess because this was shut your ass up. This was like the longest. This was the longest day I think of driving. So at some point I was like, I'm hungry, whatever. We go to Red Lobster. I had a headache on the way there though, so I had medicine in the car. So we get there, we sitting down. I'm like, they asked us what we wanted to drink. I'm like, bam, I want a Patron margarita.
Yes.
So she's like, all right, cool. He goes, babe, I got a headache. Do you have the medicine on you? I was like, nah, I left it in the car. So he goes to the car. He comes back. I'm sitting there. I'm mad hype because I'm about to get some biscuits and my margarita shows up, right? I was so hungry, y'all. Anywho, so my margarita shows up and I'm like, yeah, Patron margarita, da. I look at the margarita and I'm like, babe, there's a ring on the cup. And then next thing you know, this man is on one knee asking me to propose to him. So I'm like, well, what the hell is going on in the Red Lobster today? That's my babe.
Yes, you did.
If it like me, girl, I take his ass to Red Lobster.
So of course I had to tell her how she won her own engagement.
Yikes, right? So then he tells me how he wanted to do it at the Grand Canyon. And so now I feel like a fucking dumbass because I could have had the most lit proposal ever. Like, who's topping getting proposed to at the Grand Canyon? But because I want to be an asshole, now I'm getting proposed to in Red Lobster.
I remember when you hit me up, I was like, bitch, you couldn't just fucking be like, all right, let's go. You was like, bitch, I was tired.
You was like, that is so you, dog. Like, this proposal story is like so you.
It definitely is.
I had called my mother first, and when I told my mom how I messed it up, she was like, well, Red Lobster used to be your favorite restaurant as a kid, so you can always.
She trying to put a little
that.
sunshine on it.
Bam.
Red Lobster.
Red
Fuck up.
Lobster and Olive
Butter
Garden.
biscuits.
Look,
She got.
they gonna be like both of them basic Red Lobster and
But your
Red
proposal
Lobster
wasn't at Olive Garden. Your proposal was at the city center
Yep.
by the water and shit.
He got to enact his plan.
Right.
I'm kind of mad though, cause like they got the little love sign out there now.
So what we doing next? So how do we propose?
I got a question.
What's up?
So what is it? What is it you love about your husband?
Are we jumping to that?
No,
Are you asking me? You asking her?
I was asking her.
Oh.
Okay. What I love about this nigga. It's like, nah, for real. Like, we started out as like the best friends. Like, I mean, granted, we was like kicking it, but like we just clicked. Like, this is gonna sound so cliche, and I'm not a cliche type of person, but like he's literally like the yin to my yang. Like, I'm so dramatic, I'm impulsive, I'm extra, and he's like super like laid back, and he's like the sensible one that thinks stuff out. So I just love that he balances me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, even though sometimes his nonchalantness, I'm sure that's not a word, can like annoy me and I want to wring his neck, like it reels me in, because if we both were like me, honey, who knows? Who fucking knows? So I just love the fact that like he compliments me, and like when I get in my little, zone where I'm overthinking extra, like, fuck this shit, he's able to talk me off the ledge without. He has like a good knack for making me feel like, okay, you still in charge. Like, you know what I'm saying? You running it, but in real life, like, he behind the scenes, like, all right, like, let me make this motherfucker calm down. So I don't know how he do it, but I'm with it, because I be on some extra shit sometimes, and I don't even know I'm on some extra shit till after it happens. I'm like, yo, I was wilding. He's like, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean,
Okay.
what
So
about
that's why Dice and I must be friends then, because both of us must just need somebody to balance us the fuck out.
Now niggas be wild.
What we do?
Right.
You ain't supposed to
Kill
agree.
your ass the next time I see you. The whole time JT and I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I said literally the same thing, like, he balances me out, like, because I definitely, especially like, the listeners know that I'm going through my little depression or whatever, so like it just takes a lot for someone to deal with that or whatever, and just to be able to ride with those mood swings and all that other good stuff. So like when I come in the house and I just want to like get in the bed, because it's just not a day for me to do things, like I know that things for the most part are going to be handled. The other thing though is that, while our history sounds sketchy, there was a lot of good times. Like, we were like friends.
Way more good times.
He like knows everything about me. Like, it's actually scary. When we started dating, I had went to tell him something, or I think I was about to tell him something, and I stopped myself, and he was like, well, I already know. So I'm like, damn, I told him all the business.
She forgot that she used to tell me everything.
Because
I was the one that was in the friend bubble that you thought it was safe to tell everything to.
Right. So he knows all my business, like all the good, all the bad. And because I feel like some people, like we said in a couple of, I think it was like one of our first episodes, we talked about like people having representatives when they're dating, and then when you get married, it's like a totally different person. Like, I feel like I've always been able to be authentic with him, like more so than with any relationship that I ever been in. So,
all
right, B, your turn with your asshole self.
What's the question again?
Oh,
I'm
shit.
I'm playing. Since we getting all sentimental.
Are we?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, in your excuse me, in your sentimental way, I know you like a nigga, so
Oh,
you know what I'm saying.
oh yikes!
But nah, as y'all know, I'm younger than Dice, and I was in college, and I pretty much ain't had nothing going on when we met. So she kind of, especially when I had graduated college and I had went back to Newport News, and I pretty much was in a depressed state because we was in a long distance relationship, and I had went back. Like my whole point of going to college was to better myself, and as soon as I graduated college, I went back to my mom's house, and I literally got the same job I had before I went to college. So everybody in that joint was just like, "Oh, nigga, I thought you went to school, and I thought you was gonna be such and such." So I'm feeling like a freaking loser. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was in a depressed state, and then like I had thought I had a job locked up here. That's what got me out here. I had moved and everything. You know what I'm saying? I had moved with my frat brother, and I stayed with him for a few months, and the job had actually it wasn't going to start for like months later after I moved. So I was kind of like in a really really bad situation mentally. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't have a job, I ain't have no money, and like Dice really like was there like the whole time for me. She bought me groceries and you know what I'm saying? She took me whatever I needed to go and all this stuff. I was driving a little
The hoopty
busted down.
joint.
Yeah, I had a little hoopty joint. She rode in that joint with me a few times. You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
like, it's okay. It's
Like
not.
I literally had nothing to give but my love and some other stuff. You
It's like an
know what I'm
R&B
saying?
song. Oh, I had
Yeah,
nothing to give but
I
my
had
love.
nothing to give, and she still was like there and still loving me the same way she loved me today. And that's what what I'm saying. Really, really what I'm saying, made me close to her. I was just like, yeah, she definitely loved me because I ain't about I ain't about
No,
I ain't about
don't say
nothing
you
right
were
now.
about nothing.
I mean,
They
you know what I
like,
mean? Like for a person to have like, what I'm saying, a full career and making like, what I'm saying, actually making decent money, what I'm saying, and then dating somebody who ain't, what I'm saying, ain't got nothing together, you must really love this person. So and I definitely looked at that and was like, yeah, so this definitely gotta be my wife for real, for real. Cause she gotta love me, dog. Cause I was like, yo, what you eating today? Cause I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
let me hold some.
So you gonna come by today or am I gonna, what I'm saying? I mean, I got these noodles, but if you want to eat something else, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, she definitely had been holding me down for the long. I mean, still to this day, cause I be on some BS sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So like we level each other out, and like I said, I'm the calm one, even though I can get reckless.
For
Unfortunately,
sure.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's another episode, honey.
chill out. JT don't know nothing about that, so
I'm sure he done heard the stories.
He probably has. It's cool, but that's my reasoning. I don't know if that was a good explanation, but
It was lit.
yeah.
It was lit.
Oh, I.
What about you, JT?
Since you asked the question.
Why I love my wife. Well, one, like y'all, I mean, I feel like she balances me. Like she stays real with it. Like even the other day, like I was upset at work. Just being able to call her and kind of get my mind right. Um, I value that, and she doesn't tell me what I want to hear. She tells me kind of like what I need to hear. Like she kept it real. Like so, I appreciate that kind of stuff. She's very strong minded, so I love it about her.
Shut your ass up.
That's
You ain't her in the background.
He trying to get some head tonight.
I'm just saying, I feel your pain.
What? I'm sorry. We are married, so it's cool.
Like I said, she's very strong minded and very independent. So I don't know. That's attractive to me. I've always loved that about him. But our friendship is to me is everything. Like we've had our little ups and downs, yeah, but like when we're good, like when we're happy, like goofing around, our silliness, like I wouldn't trade that for nothing. So I love our kind of like our goofiness and how we are with each other and how we. I mean, I love that.
Oh, yeah, so sweet.
Yeah. I mean, there's more, but I don't want to be too mushy on y'all.
Oh, can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I have a child from a previous relationship, and I was very like particular about introducing people to her.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved really, really fast because we were friends for so long. Um, their relationship is amazing. Like I don't think I could have asked for like a better person as far as their relationship. Their relation, like she is at the point. Sometimes I feel some kind of way because she'll talk to him about like if I say how's your day, she'll be like, oh, it's good. But then when he comes home, she's like, and then Miss Fisher class, da 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 da. Like I find myself getting jealous because I'm like, well, shit, what the hell am I? But like high key, like I wouldn't trade that in for anything, like because it's some people out here that you can't trust around your kids.
For sure.
You think you know them and you don't, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
definitely
dope.
that.
Yeah.
Look at us, a little love fest on here and shit.
Yeah, we gotta thug this shit up a little bit.
Thug this shit out.
Yeah. Hey man, y'all seen the Cardi B and City Girls? No,
You really thugged it. So I guess what are some I guess like going into, or not even going into, like before you got married, like what's some expectations you thought of marriage versus like when you got into it, you was like, whoa, this is reality. Like I definitely thought it was this way and it's this way. So what's like some expectations that you had of marriage versus like reality?
Who you asking? Us?
Either one of y'all.
I think for me, the biggest thing, and I don't know, he may or may not agree, but I think the biggest thing for me was that, like I said, we moved really fast based off the fact that we have been friends for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that we realized, like, friendship is a great foundation. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a totally different ball game, like with a marriage. And so
I agree.
I don't think we I don't think we spend enough time to really think about like how being married and like when we got engaged that's when we moved in together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we had never lived together,
Right.
none of that stuff. So like moving in with somebody new, and I have been single for God knows how long. It was always just me and my daughter. Um, then throw the military in there too, which is a whole other layer of BS because
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Amara had to finish out her school year, so you weren't with her.
Yeah,
we
that
had
was rough.
we let Mara stay with her dad to finish up her school year, so it was like my first time being away from my daughter for a long time. The first 6 months,
Everything happened really fast.
everything happened really fast,
But it was real intense, like sitting down with her baby father, like pretty much trying to get his blessing for him to feel comfortable enough for his daughter to come live with a complete stranger to him.
Right.
I think the only saving grace there was like after we had started talking, he was like, "Is this Orange Boy? Because you had always been my friend."
Right.
But yeah, we had a lot of challenges that I don't think that we really like. I know for me, I just thought like, this my friend and we giving this a shot, and like it's in my mind, I really was just like it's meant to be because X, Y, and Z and da da da, and it's a little bit of work that goes into it.
Right. Oh.
It is a little bit of work, but it's worth it. we've had our stumbles.
Yeah, you
We've
really
made
are
our
trying to get some head now.
Mm-hmm. See, see.
we've had our stumbles, but I feel like I don't know, like we're doing it right this time, or at least trying to. And it's I don't know. It's a journey, but it's all about growing together, right? So
Definitely.
that's the goal, and that's all I really want to do with her anyway. Is just grow together.
Y'all so lovely.
What about y'all?
For me, like I even as a kid, like even though like I could come off as a nigga, like I've always wanted to get married. I always wanted to be a mom. Like I thought I was gonna like transform into this like Susie homemaker thing. Like I'm thinking about like the honeymoon stage. Like, oh, it's gonna be lit. Like we're gonna be traveling. It's gonna be lit. And what happens? B knocks me up 3 months before our wedding.
That
Whoop,
ain't my
whoop.
fault. You shouldn't have did
All
that
right, all
position.
right, all right.
I'm sorry.
Listeners don't need to know all the tea. But like literally, we went from dating to married to like you got a whole ass pregnant
Parents.
wife.
Yeah.
But like we didn't even get to, we didn't go on an actual honeymoon. Like we
Still
got
haven't.
right. So it's like we got married and I was what 3 about to touch 4 months pregnant right after the marriage. And yeah, like we didn't have time for us because you were dealing with a hormonal woman, like going through this pregnancy and then having a baby. So like I think we did a good job with what we were dealt because we still had a good time. Like even after we had our daughter, like we still kept it fun. Like we would go out and like be the cool parents who still went out to the truckaroos and drank and stuff. Like but we never had a lot of just me and you time because like we came in this joint off the rip with 3 of us. Like it was just me, you, and her. Like, hey baby, like what's good? Like so my expectation of like the whole honeymoon phase and like how stuff was gonna be and like just being at home and cooking, honey, like I was tired. Then at the beginning of, after I had my daughter, I was dealing with like a little bit of postpartum depression. So like wasn't no Susie homemaker nothing. I wasn't cooking nothing. I was like, cook, like, fuck out of here. Like, like, it wasn't all the roses and peachy, like, stuff that I thought it was going to be. And because our dating and relationship was so easy, it was so natural. Like, of all the exes that I can think of, like, my relationship with him was like, it was just like, uncomplicated. It was super easy, and all the roadblocks that you think like the distance and stuff that would normally break up a relationship, it actually like it worked
Didn't
for
bother
us.
y'all.
Right, it didn't bother us, and it was like really good for us. Like he had just got out of a relationship. I don't know if I put too much out there, but like the drink was clingy. And so to go from like somebody that's like all up in your face 24/7 to now like you're with someone that's secure with themselves and long distance, you don't have somebody all up in your business every 2 minutes. Like, so what you gonna do after this, after that? Like it was just refreshing to both of us. And to go from that to like marriage is like work. Like in my mind, I thought marriage was going to be the same way. Like, oh, this was a breeze.
Right.
Baby, this shit is easy. And then we get to marriage, I was like, all right, I'm not feeling you today. So like,
Right.
fuck about my face. And same for him. Like I know it's plenty of times where I work his nerves when he just like, yo, I will punch you in your fucking nose. Like, so I just
Never.
yeah, I know I done pressed your buttons on several times. So you're like, you know what, ma'am? Let me go ahead and but yeah, it wasn't this picture, this perfect picture that I painted, but I feel like it's perfect for us. And we still have our issues. We, like I said, we get on each other's nerves and we hit bumps and stuff, but we're learning and growing as we deal with it. But it wasn't this perfect picture that I expected, but I mean, it's still lit. It's just work to make it lit. That's all.
Okay.
B-Dub, you adding anything?
B Dizzle.
I mean, from my perspective, I would say like it was kind of, I don't know, a culture shock for me. Not in a bad way though, because like I had always, what I'm saying, been dependent on family and me, what I'm saying, getting married and actually living separate from my family and you know what I'm saying, actually having to bring home money for the bills and all that other stuff. It was cool though. Like I felt like I was growing at the same time in our relationship as well. And like I don't know, it was a positive experience for me as far as like the first few years of marriage. Even though, like I said, we had our little bumps and stuff like that, but like I really enjoyed it. Of course, I still enjoy it now, but I really enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Because I just felt independent and I felt like a actual man. Like, hey, I got a kid now. I got a wife.
That's a
And
man now.
yeah, I's a man now. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny, Dice, you were talking about like you always saw yourself married. I don't think I wasn't that way. Like I don't ever remember thinking about that.
For real?
Mm-mm. So I think that's what further adds to the fact that I didn't really have like no expectations, because I never thought about like my wedding day. Like I hear people say they always thought about that and they always thought about this. I mean, I always figured I would be married, but I didn't. But it wasn't like, I don't feel like I was like, oh, I want to be married. It kind of was just like, I just thought it would happen.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. I think us living where we were living in that little ass town with all them racist ass white
Honey,
people.
I'm so glad y'all got the fuck up out of there.
Oh my
Gee.
God. I think that was a big hurdle in our marriage. Living
That's what
there.
the sipping.
I feel like it was a hurdle, but at the same time, because of the location and where we were, I feel like with the issues that we had, it's probably the reason why we're still together.
Right.
Because I mean, we didn't have nowhere else to go. We had to work that shit out because it wasn't nowhere
It
else
made
to
y'all
go.
closer.
We was in the middle of the mountains. But I feel like, so like when we first got there, I didn't have a job. It was my first time probably since I was like 16, 17, not having a job. So, don't have a job. Then he worked nights. So I'm not even really seeing him like that, because by the time, we get up and going, he got to get ready to go to work. And then I'm asleep by the time he gets home. And then, like he said, my daughter was still on the East Coast. And then, like I said, then people call me a nigger like 3 times more than I had ever been called in my life. All that coupled with the fact, remember the first 6 months that we were there, you had to go on like 3 detachments.
Yeah,
like within the first 6 months of us being there, so you were gone.
I was gone. Like we detached so much and we traveled so much, and we'd be gone for 2 weeks here, a month here. One of them was 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, so
I mean, gotta be raw.
It wasn't for someone that's not privy to like how military life is, or how that deployment status is, or like that whole lifestyle. It's jarring. So I wasn't sensitive to that, I don't think, and we had some bumps along the way.
Cause I was like, "Fuck your job."
Yes. I'm glad y'all worked through that. Cause I love y'all.
I guess.
Y'all like.
Oh shit.
Always one hater.
Somebody gotta be a thug.
Somebody gotta be a hater. Ain't no thug. The love hater. So listeners, unless y'all got anything else, I guess this wraps up the love fest. I know this is a lot different from what you normally hear from us. So
we don't have no tea time because, like we said, it's recorded in advance.
Right. So the tea is Happy Valentine's Day.
Right.
How about that?
Y'all have
next episode we having Big Draco on that.
All right, next. Don't listen to him, listeners.
Make sure you have a lot of sex on Valentine's Day, because Shay will not be able to, since JT will not be here. You see how you're fucking up the holidays?
And the mold would not be around yet.
I know, and it's looking like the mold ain't happening. Okay.
All right.
Anyhow,
that's another episode. But anyway. We thank you, gentlemen, for coming on to our show and spreading the love so our listeners can know that we are not just wild banshees. We actually have husbands that we refer to that are real people that we love. Because we
Hey,
definitely be
I'm gonna
mentioning
need my
y'all.
payment. I know you hired me to be your husband this episode. So.
Ooh, wee!
I'm
Listeners,
playing.
Dice's husband is full of jokes, huh? All right, so we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and like every week, we tell you guys to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. If you're not already doing so, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Chatty Pattys. And yeah, you can go to the website, thechattypattys.com, where you can get all the links to where we're streaming to. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.